You know, Madam Speaker, today's a tough day for all of us. Representative Berger did a great job in talking about Waterbury and the community and all the cases that we've gone through. You know, I rise in strong support of the amendment that's before us, and I do so for one reason. Walter Williams. He was mentioned here several times today. I knew Woody very well. I knew him personally. He was a close friend to my wife's family. You know, Woody had 2 children at the time. His wife was pregnant, actually, with their 3rd child. I believe she was 8 months pregnant when he was gunned down. You know, he was doing his job. He was a very popular police officer in the city of Waterbury. He worked a lot of extra shifts doing traffic. And one particular shift that he had was in front of a Domino's pizza place. He was directing traffic there for years. And he always directed it in such a humorous way that everybody in the city came to know him. You know, when he was gunned down on that December evening, it was so close to Christmas, and when you have a relationship with an individual, such as a police officer, and he was a young man, he was an inspiring young man, the entire city of Waterbury fell to their knees. I'll never forget the emotional impact that the murder of Walter Williams had on our community, and the entire city. In fact, when Walter was waked, he was waked in City Hall. I've never witnessed anyone being waked in City Hall, but the line to his wake had to extend almost a mile long. It went all the way down Grant Street, down Meadow Street, almost to Bank Street. That's how many people came out on a cold, frigid evening to pay their last respects to an individual that was serving us. You know, imagine your father being gunned down. Here's 20 years later. These young men are doing well, thank God, but one of them never knew their father. We need legislation like this. We need this amendment to pass because people have to know that if you gun down a police officer while he's protecting us, then you have consequences to pay. This is a deterrent. I'll never forget the reaction of the Waterbury Police Department that morning when this happened. I owned a diner at the time, and I used to get up early in the morning, and I was open at 5 a.m. This occurred maybe 20 minutes prior to me opening my restaurant, and I just remember the fury of police officers everywhere that morning. You knew that something was up. I didn't know what had happened, but you knew that something was up. And shortly after this, some of the police officers were coming in the restaurant, and they told me. And when they told me it was Woody, I couldn't believe it. To this day, every time we debate this issue here, it just rehashes all those memories for me. The anger still comes up. I mean, this was 20 years ago. And when Representative Berger mentioned the other murders that occurred, I remember following each and every one of those cases. You know, we need this death penalty in the state of Connecticut. People say it's not working. It is working. Because these people are placed on death row. And someday, if we do fix this death penalty, they're going to pay the ultimate price. You know, it's a tough issue for each and every one of us, even for myself on a personal level. You know, I consider myself a very religious person. So to come to this conclusion, it's very difficult. But when you live through these cases that were happening in Waterbury, I know that each and every one of us in Waterbury, like Representative Berger said, over 80% of the population of Waterbury embraces the death penalty because of what we've been through. Matter of fact, I think the Q poll even says that over 65% of state residents favor the death penalty. So in my mind, I don't even know why we're debating this here tonight. I mean, if we're truly here to represent the constituency that put us here, the people of the state of Connecticut, we shouldn't be having this debate. But we are, because the votes are there. Let's not kid ourselves. But this amendment before you, ladies and gentlemen, I think needs to be passed. I think people need to know that if they harm one of our police officers while they're serving to protect us in the dead of night, in the cold winter days when they're out there on the streets, and if someone takes their life and ruins their families, where their families don't have the opportunity to be with them anymore, we need to keep this on the book, because that absolutely will be a deterrent. So I urge everyone in this chamber to please adopt this amendment. Thank you.